Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're watching from. This is Become Successful with your host, Dr. Yemi Osho. This channel promises to always come up with great content. And of course, we have another great and a successful filmmaker here with us this morning or afternoon, wherever you're watching from, and he'll be introducing himself. He's a gospel filmmaker, and we want to get to know his craft and how he does what he does. So, in a few minutes, I'm going to let him do some introduction, and then we'll do a deep dive into what has made him successful, and so that you audience can also learn a thing or two from him and be able to implement that in your own personal lives. So, go ahead, our guest for today, Mr.
Thank
Emmanuel.
you. Thank you very much, sir. I want to say very big thank you to you for this opportunity. My name is Aina Ayomide Emmauel, and I'm a filmmaker, a gospel filmmaker. I'm a graphics designer. Um, I I compare events, weddings, and the likes, but definitely I'm strictly into gospel films, and that's what I do. That's basically what I'm called to do. So I'm not a filmmaker because I feel like just making films. It's a call of God upon my life to be in that space. So professionally, I'm an actor, director, producer, editor. Uh, so I cut around almost all aspects of filmmaking, but the most for me is, or the most interesting aspect for me is training. I love to train people on filmmaking. So yeah, that's that's me.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, a brief introduction. So, it seemed like you wear many hats from the brief explanation you just gave. What is it? Could you give us uh, a background into your academic life, where you were born and you grew up, if you would tell us that now.
Okay, so I was born and bred in Ilorin, Kwara State, which is my current base. I said current because anything can happen tomorrow. It's
Mm,
my current base, and I schooled the University of Ilorin. I studied religions, Christian studies for my first degree. Then from there, I went to Afebawalola University where I had my master's degree. I had master's in peace and conflict resolution. Peace and conflict resolution. So I'm married with two kids to the glory of God. And okay, what else? What else? Yeah.
okay,
So
so
okay, sir.
yeah, so sorry to cut you short from there. You were born and raised in Ilorin, and
Yes.
that is your origin, if I will put it that way.
Yes. But I'm from Kwara State, so Obuayugunle to be precise. But
Okay,
uh, yeah, few
okay,
of us never not got the opportunity to visit those places yet.
but that is still within Kwara State. You see that I don't think Kwara State is so big that you know
Well,
it may
Kwara
not be
State,
that big.
there are a few towns that you would still need about 3 4 hours within Kwara State before you get there. The Kwara State
Wow.
is actually, yes, as little as it might be on the map.
Okay, okay,
And
okay,
let's say, let's say because of the roads,
okay,
Nigerian factor, the roads are still not so good. But then
okay.
definitely, Kwara is not as big as Oyo State, Ibadan and all. But yeah, there are a few places where it will take a distance before you get there.
Okay. Yeah. So my question is why religion? You said you studied religion as the first degree. Why religion?
Okay, so um, let me start like the regular Nigerian student, I was given religions
Mm,
because when you apply to a university and they don't give you the course that you want, they would you what most times students will say I was given. So
mm.
basically, I was given religions. I applied for law and I had a beautiful WAEC result. So I think based on what I heard from few sources, they said maybe they gave me religions because I had A1 in CRS. Because
Mm.
I was would have just sent me to English department, linguistics, or any other departments. Why religions? Why Christian studies? But well, eventually I studied it, and so it eventually became very interesting. I would say became a pedestal for quite a number of things that I know today, and that I do today.
So what would you say was your okay? You said law was actually the first thing that you really
Yeah.
wanted to do. So why did you choose to go and study law?
Okay. So I would come from the angle of um, maybe societal pressure,
Mm,
maybe at the time while I was still in um, while I was still wanting to go into the university then, there was still this strong perspective of if you want to be successful, there are few courses you should study.
okay.
You must study law. If you don't study law, you have to study medicine. If you're not studying medicine, it has to be engineering. A few of those courses then. So since I was in art class, it felt like successful department, the most successful department would be law. Uh,
Mm,
if I if I probably had the opportunity, the full opportunity to go where I wanted, I might probably had chosen performing arts.
mm.
But yeah, I might have chosen performing arts. But I'm grateful to God that I did not choose performing arts. Sincerely, yes, I'm grateful to God.
And why is that?
Okay, okay. So this is a particular space that uh, sometimes I try not to speak too much into it, but let me just dive a bit into it. So,
Mm-hmm.
the arts in Nigerian universities, they have few things they do that could dent your spiritual life as a
Mm,
burden. So, um, I related with them from my 100 level, though I was not studying performing arts. Still today, a lot of people who have worked with me, who are around me, still feel I studied performing arts. Even though I was the class rep of my department, they felt AY studied performing arts because I was always having productions, always having stage productions in performing arts while I was
mm,
in school. And with my relations with them, I saw the way they related with themselves. I saw some a bit heightened sexual relations
mm,
that yes, we know that most departments in the universities or once youths gather together, there is a possibility um, of sexual vices here and there. Yes, there could be a possibility, but sometimes it could be a bit heightened. Now, let me expose a little thing. There's
mm,
something called concentration test that performing arts students do. I don't know if it's still a thing they do now because I think there was a particular set that tried to fight it, but I'm not sure if they succeeded. I think they even do it in few acting schools. Is where a lady lays on the ground and then you as a guy you are asked to lay on her and you're meant to keep your composure.
mm,
And by the time you're standing up, you must not have any. There must not be any physical sexual rising on you or something.
mm-hmm.
And the question I ask now is how many of them succeeded through it? I have a lot of performing art graduates who are around me now who came in with their spiritual stance and lost it while they were in school.
Mm,
There are few things that they asked to do for it's I feel um is it a psychological forcefulness now because they won't tell you to do it by force, but they will tell you your marks are attached to it. So if you don't do it, you fail a course. If you don't do this, you do this and all those things. So, and because the way God has created our mind, there are few things we see, we hear that even when they are no more in our very before, when we go back to the comfort of our rooms and all, they play back in our minds. So imagine a guy who has laid on a lady, and then you are telling him he should not think of any sexual thing, and then he goes back to his room and then is ruminating on those things. Is there no a possibility that I would that reach out to that lady, and if the lady turns him down, there would always be a play on the mind and all
mm,
that. So um in a way I felt like I was able to just God saved me, because I probably would have not left. um
mm,
um I was not, I wouldn't say I was a perfect Christian while I was in school. Yes, we had some youthful exuberance while we were still in school, but it might have been worse.
mm,
Might have been worse with performing arts. Yeah. So that's why I tell people, thank God for Mount Zion School now. The
mm.
affiliation with Redeemer's University and the likes, where you can now study Christian performing arts. And I've had the opportunity to be under one of the courses. I think that's 2 3 years ago now, and I know what they teach is something they wouldn't ask you to lay on a lady. They wouldn't do that. So there are few things. So anybody that comes to me now and says I want to study performing arts, I always feel cringy. Can you go study English? If it's because of drama, there's something called theater workshop that they do in English departments. You can easily pick up theater workshop and still be acting, but you wouldn't go into the depth of some things that they do in performing arts that could be scary. I don't want to go into some diabolical aspects that are also that I
Mm.
saw myself, but it is
Yeah,
well.
I would understand that with the performing arts, because if you look at the conventional movies that's being rolled out, you would see that where that physical contact is, always
Exactly.
comes into play, and they might just be simulating those things that they will eventually face when they leave the college. So I will understand that with them. Um, Anyways, let's come back. How did you come about acting? It was did your parent? Do you come from a performing arts family? Is it inherited? Is it something that came naturally to you, or did you go? Do you have a training? Could you give us a history into how you came about acting?
Okay, so two things. First is, let me say it came naturally. I started acting at a very tender age. Primary school, I was always, if every other person wants to go to different clubs and societies in the secondary school, I would pick drama always. So I was always in the drama group. In my secondary school, I was always in the drama group also, always consistently in the drama group. So I would say that was where the interest came. It was just very natural for me. But secondly, my mom was, she's still alive, so she's not a professional actor or something, but she's very dramatic.
Mm,
She's very dramatic. So if I would say where I picked it, I would say from my mom. I would say from my mom. I used to be in the choir too. So my mom is still in the choir till now, and I would say the little singing I could do also came from her. Most things that I do in the arts,
mm,
even comparing events, my mom used to compare events. So I would
mm.
say yes, I picked it from her. So I think I just took mine a notch higher. But yes, I picked from her.
And what about the skills of editing, directing, all the skills that comes with directing?
Okay, so I'm there's nothing called self-made, because if you read books, you watch tutorials here and there, There were human beings who made those materials available for you. So that's why before I used to refer myself, I used to call myself a self-made filmmaker, but I'm not, because the materials that have made me were written and made by people also. I'm self-taught. That's what I would
Okay.
say. Directing, editing, um, everything I do in filmmaking, I'm self-taught, and my greatest teacher is YouTube.
Mm.
That's just my greatest teacher is YouTube. There is nothing I do today that I've not. I've attended conferences, but to
Mm.
say that a teacher sat me down to teach me how to edit, nah, I picked up everything myself from YouTube,
And
watched tutorials on directing and the likes.
so, if you want to put the date to this, how long have you been doing acting, directing? For how long have you been doing this?
Wow. Okay. So let me say professionally, I would say 3, 4 years professionally. But if I want to say how long I've been in the creative space, because I've been directing for a while, stage and film.
Okay.
So I would say about 10 years now.
You said 10 years?
Yes, I would say about 10
Okay.
years now.
Okay. And you said you've been doing this from university days, right? If I'm
Yeah. Directing stage projects from university days. Um, Worked on few skits then, but I would say coming professional into the professional space, let me just sum it up to 5 years professionally. That I'm saying, okay, yes, this is what I'm deciding to do. 5 years, but being in the entire space, okay, director, hey, why, please, we need to direct the project, please, will you come around? Okay, let's say about 10 years I've been around.
so the stage plays that you did in the university, what was it about? Is it a for the Christian fellowship or what? What was it about?
So both. I was very active in my school fellowship. That's Winners Campus Fellowship. Then I was very active in the drama unit, directed, even acted also. Then I belonged to a particular troupe. I used to belong to a particular troupe at John Players Troupe. It was it's headed by Professor Luobafemi.
Hmm.
Professor Luobafemi. He's a professor in English department at University of Ilorin. Um, I was one of the actors, one of the key actors there. We used to travel around Nigeria for stage projects. We did one for Governor Mimiko in Ondo State
Hmm.
a few years ago. We had different projects here and there, different projects here and there, but they were secular projects. We
Hmm.
had commands. There are few books. Okay, for example, um, um, Distant Cries by Olu Obafemi. If you
Hmm.
open the first two pages, my name is on it as an actor for the command play. I think when I went for my master's in Afe Babalola University, the English department was one of their materials. One of the materials they were reading was Distant Cries. So I had the opportunity to direct their very first stage projects in Afe Babalola for their convocation with Mr. Dr. Solomon Edebo. I worked with him
Hmm.
then. So they were surprised that the book that they were trying to rack their brain, trying to understand the book, they just opened and said, our director's name is inside the same book that we are reading.
Hmm.
So a beautiful sight then. It was a beautiful sight. So I had both. And then there was Parak, Parak Theatre Troupe
Hmm.
evolved into Parak Christian Theatre. It is now Parak Christian Creatives. So the owner is a very good friend of mine. Their major is stage projects, and I used to direct the acts and all. We were together at Lagos Theatre Festival in 2020.
Hmm.
The only theatre troupe from Ilorin. Every other person was from Lagos. We were the only ones they brought from Ilorin. It was an exciting process then. until God also hooked him, and then Parak is now doing strictly gospel stage projects now. Strictly gospel stage projects now. So yes, I had my hands in both then until God hooked me and decided that to only be gospel projects.
Hmm. So, my next question is, why did you decide to make this professional? I'm sure you might be thinking of other things, even though initially this could have been something you did as an hobby, but now it's become a professional thing to you. So, why did you decide to, make it professional?
Okay, so maybe I should do a little history.
Hmm,
Go back in time a little. So I was a member of Actors Guild of Nigeria, Kwara State
hmm,
chapter, and we were working on different projects. And there was a time when I was meant to be an assistant director for a Netflix project, and that was when God said enough is enough to secular projects. So I would say it was not my decision. It was not my decision to make the whole filmmaking thing a ministry, make it so professional, and it was definitely not my decision. I could remember I was yes, I used to work in the bank too.
hmm,
I worked with Senate Bank for a while, and something dramatic happened in the banking hall. I think I was there, and then someone came in. Till now, I don't know who. Uh, People heard the person's voice. They don't even know who the person is. The person shouted, "Ayomide, what are you doing here?"
hmm,
That was when it became obvious that okay, what exactly I'm actually doing in the bank? Why too many? I'm locking up so many talents, so many giftings of God working in the banking sector and all. And I had to resign. I resigned 3 months, about is it 3 or 6 months to my wedding?
hmm,
3 6 months to my wedding. So it didn't make sense at all. So if I can't take the glory of I was the one who decided that I was going to go serious with it. No, um, it was God's instruction. Now I was aiming high for Nollywood, um, and my interest. I created a vision for myself because there's so much negativity in Nollywood, in the Nollywood space, and I created a vision that I was going to be a Christian, stand out on that sphere of influence, have a stable marriage, be godly, set standards. And funny enough, I was setting bits of standards even in my little Kwara state here for the Nollywood project I was working on. I don't keep on club, I don't drink, um, I don't smoke. So I had standards. Directors before they reach out to me, once I get the script, I'm sorry, I tell them instantly I can't do this, I won't do this, I won't do this. So it felt like I was actually until a project came and it broke the camel's back. On that particular set, it was like I just let all my guards down and all. It was it was premiered in the cinema here in Kwara State. I think the title is Now You See Us. Now You See
hmm.
Us. So but glory to God. Yeah, God just took over. He took over the whole talent, the whole skill and everything. And today we do it for God, not for the money. Uh, unlike pastors now who receive tithes and offering,
Hmm.
for those of us in this space, once you say God has called you, it becomes difficult for you to charge, except if God is giving an instruction for it. So you basically live on what God instructs you to do and what God puts in your hand. So that's it, sir.
So, uh, from the perspective of your wife, how did she take you resigning from your job and when you're about to get married? How did she take it? It was she, because I know most women, they say, "Are you out of your mind?" So how did she take it?
Okay, so I would say I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have her. She's a ministry gift herself. Uh, I think God just prepared her for me.
Mm.
Uh, she's the greatest supporter, the greatest fan. Uh, Even then, while we were still trying to make the decision, it still felt a bit easier because it looked like there was a plan. Don't worry, we'll not go hungry. We'll be doing graphics design. We'll be doing this. We'll be doing that. But how many graphics? I can't even remember. Okay, I think I was still working on the graphics earlier today, but it's not really doesn't come as it would be able to put food on the table or something.
Mm.
Um, I think we had an incident recently. I think that was last year September, when my parents, my dad, till my dad, I lost my dad earlier this year. So, but till he died, he never
Mm.
agreed with the whole drama ministry thing. I don't blame him. How will you train a child to master's level and then you're telling me you want to put the masters under your bed? You want to go and serve God.
Mm.
So remember then, it was on my birthday, 2nd of September. My dad spoke so much to me, and I told my wife, I said, I know how much my skills worth in the market. I
Mm.
know if I decide not to even work with my skills, if I decide to go look for a job with my master's degree, I know how much I would worth out there.
Mm.
And then I told her I was going to get a job. Like I was done with, because yes, finances were a bit shaky and all that.
Mm.
I told her I was done. That for goodness sake, I think we already had it. We already had a daughter then, I think. Said I was done. I was this. I think she was even still pregnant then because we welcomed our second baby in March this year. So the greatest surprise was she said no. I said no. You're not going to look for a job because I remember what you told me. He said God told you to resign from the bank. God did this. God instructed you. So if God was the one that instructed you, why then are we going to turn our back against God because of few shaky things here and there? And we cannot deny the fact that God has been faithful. There are so many things that look like miracles. Some people will just call out of the blues, send funds to us and all that. Some things that we do not pay for, they just call and
Mm.
some things that we are praying to God that God please provide finances for this. Someone will just call and say, come and pick it up, or someone will
Mm.
just pay for it and get it. So many things. So we really could not deny the favor of God. But I think it was just I just had it up to here, and because of the pressure from left and right, I just wanted to make that decision, drop it all. I was even hoping, I was even
Mm.
wanting to speak with some men of God that I had close to me. That is it possible for somebody to sacrifice fulfillment and ministry for the sake of family?
Mm.
I just want to drop it all, drop ministry, drop. Yes, I gain fulfillment from going on set, from acting, seeing souls get saved, and all that, but can I just pause it for a while? For 2, 3 years, let me gather
Mm.
money, then let's come back again. And
Mm.
that was my perspective then. But then I'm submitted to Evangelist Ayobami Adiboyega of Program International. So I would say he has been a backbone. He has been a backbone, supportive,
Mm.
ever ready to listen, ever ready to support and all. So thank God for the men that he has used to surround us and all those things.
Mm.
Oh God. So I would say my wife has been a pillar of support. Has been a pillar of support. If someone there's nothing that I want to become tomorrow now.
Mm.
Maybe I'll now build 5 houses or build one estate. I'll be like, where were you when I was saying, hey, where were who? She
Mm.
was there from scratch when it didn't look like it was going to make sense. It didn't look like
Mm.
she. No. I think they are the ones that we should, especially the ones, if the wives of ministers, they should be well
Mm.
celebrated. They are the ones that believed when everybody did not believe. They are the
Mm.
ones that decided to stay to the very end, knowing that if you said you heard God, okay, fine.
Mm.
You stay.
Mm.
Because they did not hear God, they had me. It was my voice she had. It was me that
Mhm.
it's me that I had God. So they should be celebrated. They should be celebrated.
Wow. That is one thing that most people do not know about sacrifice. You are making a huge sacrifice um, to go out there and minister, and God has a way of rewarding his servants as well. So to how many movies have you acted in? I've seen you in. I've, when I first saw your project, it was with Quagmire. So how many movies
But
have you acted in?
I know I've not acted in a lot, but truthfully, I've lost count.
Wow.
I've lost. I can't put a figure to it. I can't put a figure to it. There are a few
Okay. How
projects
many?
that I can't even remember the titles. Just go on set and you're out. Ah, I can't put a figure. It's not much, oh. Might not even be up to
Okay.
20, but mm, mm-mm.
Okay. How many have you produced? How many of these movies have you produced?
Okay. So hmm, let me answer that question this way. Um, I run a ministry, the Oaks of
Mm-hmm.
Righteousness Drama Ministry, and we started off as a group of friends like 8 years ago,
Okay.
and we produced like 2, 3 movies.
Hmm.
I was the producer of the film then until the year 2020
Mm-hmm.
when Train was out. The Train,
Hmm.
I'm on Zion. So I watched that film, and then it felt like a realignment for me. Um, from there, I had very strict instructions from God. It was like close up the ministry, like just shut everything down, go and get a realignment, go because it was in 2020 that everything about me and drama ministry came to be.
Hmm.
Everything, everything. The call itself, understanding it, knowing who to go and meet and all, and then making it look like I'd been in drama ministry for over 10, 15 years, and I'm just like 3 years, this 2024, I'm
Hmm.
just like years in drama ministry.
Hmm.
I would say my story is a story of obedience and yielding.
Hmm.
Uh, in 2020, after watching The Train, um, I prayed. I can remember that night. I prayed all through that night,
Hmm.
and then um, God, the ministry was called Creative Alpha Minds then.
Hmm.
Creative Alpha Minds then. So after prayer, God said that He wants to do a realignment on the ministry and on me personally. So we suspended everything about the ministry, and then
Hmm.
I went to Mount Zion School.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was there January. I think January 2021 was when I was in Mount Zion School, and I was there all through. When I was done, the instruction God gave me when I came back was to go and submit to a spiritual father. Now, a spiritual, because I remember that scripture, it said that locate the old path. That was the word. Locate the old path. Me, I did not want drama ministry. I hated because it felt very mediocre, very so I didn't like drama ministry. I didn't like gospel films and all. So one of the questions I asked God then when he was saying it has to be drama ministry was what am I coming to do? I
Hmm.
can't just come like that and then join the bandwagon and start running on a queue. What exactly am I coming to do there? So he then gave me a vision. We started off the International Drama Ministers Prayer Conference that same year. International Drama Ministry, where we gather drama ministries around Nigeria and people join online from other nations of the world. We pray and then we train drama ministers. So he knew that I had a passion for training. So we train drama ministers on drama ministry and filmmaking. And then we also have time to share the word and pray. This we had the third edition this year. Next year will be the fourth edition by the grace of God. So I wanted to go submit to Reverend Yemi Adepoju. That was the name on my head until and then I was already getting plans. I already sent him a WhatsApp message that
Hmm.
daddy I'm coming to meet you and everything. And then I just lost my peace. And then funny enough, I was already doing graphics design for Baba for Evangelist Ayobami Adegboyega. I was doing
Hmm.
graphics design for him already for his ministry. And then God said, stop collecting money from him. That was how it started. So I stopped collecting money for him for about a month or two.
Mhm.
Next thing God said, go and submit to him. He's the one that will mentor you in drama ministry. And then I went to him, and then it looked like he had already been waiting for me. The year, the year that program, that's Evangelist Ayobami's ministry was inaugurated, was the same year I was born,
Mm.
1996. And then um, the day we're going to do the International Drama Ministers Prayer Conference is the day God stamped on my heart for us to have the ministry that God has reorchestrated. That was the same year that he told me that that day will be the day that we should do the commissioning
Mm.
of ministry. That's Oaks of Righteousness Drama Ministry. And in my
Mm.
heart, I was like, that okay. It just it didn't the date no, May 3rd just stuck with me, and then we just went ahead. We invited Baba Adeboyega to come and speak at the program. I was not
Mm.
in the hall. So he
Mm.
now told the audience, he said that people did not know that even me, even I, that is Ayomide, I did not know that the same May 3rd was the same day his ministry program was inaugurated. But
Mm.
intentionally did not tell me. So currently now, by divine orchestration, I and my spiritual father will celebrate annually the same birthday for ministry
Mm.
by divine orchestration. So, and I would say that year after year, month after month, my growth in drama ministry, thanks to God, but also thanks to Evangelist Ayobami Adeboyega, he has been like the man showing me the path. So I get angry
Mm.
when people say they're coming to drama ministry or ministry at all, and you ask who is your spiritual father, who is your guide, and they say nobody. The Holy Spirit is the one guiding them. I'm like, how? Is the reason why you won't be able to go far. So it looks like we have achieved a lot of things in the span of 3 years in drama ministry, and I'm just like 3 years in drama ministry. But it looks like we've achieved things for over 15 years. So there are a lot of things, placements, people that I've met on the
Mm.
pedestal of just committing and yielding to God. So to answer your question, all this while we've not produced any other film because we have to put a break to everything. So, but there's a project that is currently on that is inside the kitchen that we are cooking, and that's Tumishi. That's a movie that is coming out very soon by the grace of God. So that is the next film that I would say. So I would say officially, that is my first film to be produced as a drama minister.
Okay. So, how before we go to the movie, you were going to tell us a little bit about the movie. How important is it to find a mentor? Because from what I'm listening to now, it seemed like your journey was really fashioned as a result of finding a mentor who is able to put you together and guide you in your own action. How important is it for anything whatsoever?
Um, I say there's okay when I anchor events. There's something funny I say when fathers come to give a speech or lead a prayer. I say that fathers are like feathers. We
Hmm.
mount on their wings so that we can soar high. Um, these men have they have okay. So let me say before I approached them, when I approached Baba Adeboyega, like I said, I was not interested in drama ministry. The fact that God was even asking me to go and submit to Him, and I had seen few of their designs, I'd seen a few of their movies. I was like, no, these are not the kind of films I want to do. How will I go and submit to somebody who it doesn't look like he aligns with me?
Hmm.
The mistake most youths make is the fact that they think that these fathers don't know what they are doing. They
Hmm.
feel that because they are young, they are vibrant, they have better and greater knowledge than them.
Hmm.
So they find it difficult to submit and yield to their instructions. And that is where that's where failure starts because these fathers they've seen the old, they are currently seeing the present. The Yorubas will say that what an old man or an elderly person would see sitting on the chair, if you climb an Iroko tree, you wouldn't still see it
mm,
because you've gathered experience over the years. There are decisions that, sorry to say, there are ministries that I would not work with. Not because I have an issue with them, but because I asked my spiritual father and he said no.
mm,
That's just it. And it is after a year or two or few months that I'll find out the reason why he said no, even though he did not have any reason for me then.
mm,
I've had the opportunity to be on few platforms based on the fact that he just said, I know Ayomide is my son. That's all.
mm, mm,
That's all. So he opens doors. Um, um, there is nobody who wants to go far who would not need a guide, who would not need someone who has gone through that path before you. Because in going through them, now sometimes you might not be able to meet them physically. So if depending on the ministry or the space that you are, even if it's in business, it might be that you have to read their books, you would
mm.
have to attend their seminars, um, workshops, and everything. So let me, I think I should go a bit deeper into it. Far beyond all that, there are responses that a mentee is meant to have towards a mentor that would enable you to enjoy the dividends of that mentor mentee relationship. And
Okay.
one secret is honor. One secret is honor. I've learned to honor secretly and publicly. Honor secretly and publicly. I've learned to, okay, there's a particular brother of mine who came to meet me. I was saying that he left his mentor because his mentor does not have time for him. I said it might be a valid reason. And I said, but what do you mean by not having time for you? He said, anytime I go there, he's always just doing something else. He doesn't say anything to me. I said that most times we learn by observation. It's not until your mentor sits you down and says, so when you step out, greet people. It's just
Mm,
you are just around them and they just do things and you learn it. Let me say one thing I've learned from Daddy Adeboyega. It is the grace for ease, which has now rubbed on his personal life. Where there, I don't think I've seen him worked up over a situation before. He's always
mm,
calm, always calm. So it has rubbed off on me that in difficult situations, I'm just there. I'm just calm. I'm just calm. There's just a knowing that no, God got us. God has us in His mind. So everything will be settled. And I've seen that even there was a situation where I was driving him that day and someone hit us from the back.
mm,
I could imagine I think he was planning for a particular ceremony that was going to require some funds. So I can
mm,
imagine somebody could be like, you just hit my car. I'll be like, we are going to the market to go and buy things now. Mama, wow, wow, I'll
mhm,
be looking for the money to repair car and also be doing this. But he was so
mm,
calm. He just came out. I think it was a lady. He just asked her, so what are we going to do about it? She was like, she does not know. I said, okay, it's fine. He just said, let me just call my mechanic. Like I was like, ah, I will have scattered ground. I was like, what's this? What's this?
mm,
But that calmness, and I see it reflecting on ministry. That there are days when you might feel that there's nothing, but he's probably saying that then we want to buy this for the ministry for this and everything. Then he's saying okay, but it looks probably there's 0 naira in the account currently, but in a short while,
mm,
you just tell you, "Yeah, go and get it." But you would not see him agitated.
mm,
Because that is my own personal experience of having a mentor.
mm,
A lot of people, a lot of youths that are around me, even in this Kwara state, I see them as lone rangers, and
mm,
it's not, it's not hard. You won't be. It's not hard that you now say that people don't know you, people don't recognize you, um, your projects are not going far. Uh, it's because you don't align yourself with anyone. There's also
mm,
a path of God now directing you to who to go to.
mm.
The spiritual, that is spiritual and deeper, but at least even have someone who can check and balance you, who can say
mm,
no. If who you would honor with the fact that if the person says yes, the person's yes is yes, and the person's no is no.
mm. This is really very powerful. I'm glad you are able to share some of these stories with us, so so that people can learn. And this is the essence of this platform. So
Yes,
now
sir.
let's go to that project, Tumishi. I've seen following you on your Facebook account and seeing that you're promoting that movie. Tell us a little bit about Tumishi.
Okay, so Itumishe's story has been around for about 7 years,
Mm,
and so we've been writing and rewriting for a very long time, and then I found out that the fact that the story was it was actually very long.
mm,
It was meant to be a series of events, but and I think it was the reason why we were just postponing and postponing. So until God like opened my eyes to understand that if you don't do that project now, you might eventually not be able to do that project again. Because I think it's one thing that affects filmmakers. You want everything to be very perfect, you want everything to be all good the way you have done it and everything. So, but God just had to break that jinx off me. Um, so we worked on it. I said, no, 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 no. So it's meant to be a story carving around about 7 to 8 students. It's a
mm,
secondary school story, but God was help. God helped us to be able to break it down to just two students with few twists here and there, here and there. One of the things that birthed the story was my NYSC days. Also, I served in Osun State, and during my stay there, I had the opportunity to work with secondary school students, and I could remember a particular girl was the one that was a push for that story too. She she was, I would say, disliked by majority, because there's a felt. I just saw her as a youth that had youthful exuberance.
okay.
Um, I think when I got to school, then one of the news that was spreading was that she kissed a boy in the toilet. That was the news that was spreading in
Mm,
school then. I was like, who is the person? Who is the person? Because everybody was saying it. Teachers, students, it was the news here and there. So I called for her and eventually met her. And then I just spoke to her. I just wanted to know her. And after then, I think the next day or 2 days later, I heard that she was tearing her skin with blade or something. I said, is it that serious? So eventually I called her, spoke to her, glory of God, I led her to Christ, and then started a little mentorship program with her, discipleship um, program with her. And one thing led to another. It extended to the entire fellowship in the school.
mm,
I remember one particular day where there was so much noise in the fellowship. There was a teacher there, but the teacher could not even handle the students. And to the glory of God, as I stepped in, there was just calmness, and all the students were just ready to listen to me. I can remember after that fellowship, then few of the teachers were asking me, you teach us how you're handling the student, though you did this and everything. Uh, but I was not constant in school because while I was serving, I was the editorial president, editorial CDS. So I
okay.
would always go back to the orientation camp for 3 weeks. Anytime there's a new batch, they would NYSC will pull me back to camp to
Okay.
train core members and all. So I was not really constant in the school. So eventually I finished. While I was going, I had a manual by Teenagers Outreach Ministry, Tom. I had that manual. They use it for to train teenagers and all that. I gave it to the school for them to use in to organize their fellowship
Mm,
consistently. I don't know whether they still use it, but I think that was what I was able. I think that was in 2017. I think I served 2017 or 2018. I think 2018 or 17, cha. So I was able to give them that manual, and that particular girl. I think I still saw a picture yesterday or 2 days ago on Instagram. Vibrant girl,
Mm,
vibrant for God, and I'm so glad that she got the intervention then. So the story, the film to me, she is carved around a core member who comes into an environment of chaos.
mm,
And even though she never wanted to stay, she was the in quotes the messiah
mm,
of that space. And if she had left, maybe that school would have been in disarray. But because she decided to stay, there was peace and restoration for quite a number of students, even for the
mm,
management of the school. So that
mm.
is the
Core of
that is
the
the
entire story. So now this is more of your personal story. Listening to this is more of your personal story, and then you curated it into a drama in a movie. So I also saw on your page that you're promoting Waiting on Ice. Is that your movie?
no, it's not. That's Waiting on Ice is by Rafik's film by Angel Isaac.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So the teaching, where is it something natural to you? Because it seemed like you always want to teach. You are willing to teach. And I know that I know this for sure because I'm also passionate about teaching. And so how did this teaching come about? Is this something that you've been doing from college, maybe doing tutorial? How did you come about the you see that naturally you want to tilt towards the teaching part because if it comes to you naturally.
Really. Okay, so I would say maybe it came in from um, church. Church. Let me give kudos to Tom. That's Teenagers Outreach Ministry. Um, they give opportunities for teenagers. Okay, when we meet for they hold an annual camp where teenagers gather, and then they split us into platoons. Um, and then a teenager will become the leader of the team, where you have to organize the whole team, and then you have to learn public speaking there one way or the
Mm,
other, because you have to address nothing less than 50 to 60 teenagers and get them to do tasks for a couple of about 5 days stretch. So more like you are like a small president, small governor, doing a lot of things and all. And I realized that after I was after that little season where I started moving out of the teenage age, I used to have someone around, Emmanuel Adebayo. He was an uncle. We call them uncles and aunties, the adults that are in Tom. He was an uncle in Tom. We used to have small clubs around in town in Ilorin here. He used to be the one in charge of that club. We call it Club 13 then. For
okay.
about So he left for about a year thereabouts. I used to be the one in charge of that Club 13, where I
Mm,
teach God's word to teenagers. Come to think of it, my wife even attended then. She did not even know she was going to be my wife.
mm,
She used to attend, then come with teenagers from our church and all, and then attend. So I would say that was where it started. That was where it started. And then after that, I noticed that once I learn a skill, especially
mm, mm-hmm.
with my guys in Creative Alpha Minds, then once I learn a skill, I'm always interested in everybody trying to understand it and know it, so that we can all just pick it. We can all just pick it and all. And I wouldn't say the teaching thing started very early, but I think I would
Okay.
say yes, sir, I would say that it was in that period. I would say that the teaching grace came,
Mm,
wanting people to know about a thing. I can easily set up a discussion within few people, and then we'll start discussing few strategies on how to get words out of people with the intention of teaching them new things. So yeah, I think that was how it started. That was how
Okay.
it started. So now in filmmaking, the interest, the interest came from um, doing things excellently, the spirit of excellence. That was where the interest came from. And I knew that there's no way a person can do something excellently except they are trained for it, except they know it. So uh, when I came into drama ministry, I knew that it's going to be a very cogent point for me. It's going to be very crucial that if you are saying they are not doing it right, they are not doing it right, the question is, what are you doing to help them do it better?
Okay.
So I have to, the little guys that are around, the little few filmmaking organizations that are around me, I train there. Um, program has a school where I teach. I teach acting, script writing, um, yeah, and then there's JATEM Global Network. I also teach in their school. Recently, Actors Guild of Nigeria, that I left then because of the shift into gospel space, they invited me to come teach script writing to the glory of God. So that's where
Yeah.
we are.
While I accept that it is out of um, having excellence, I also have to say that not everyone will naturally want to go and teach.
Yes.
So I would say it maybe it's something that you've developed over time, but you are passionate about it. So, in conclusion, you've talked a lot, and we've seen you in. I wanted to talk about the quagmire. While you may not speak a lot about it, it seemed like you're acting a role of a villain. If I'm looking from my own perspective, you are the bad guy. Constantly the season there's a lot of twists and turns, and now, and I'm sure there's already season 4 coming out or thereabout. So, how did this come about? You participating in this project.
Okay. So the project belongs to Evangelist Ayobami Adepoyega of Program. So technically, any project that belongs to Baba belongs to me, and I was opportune to be a cast, or I am opportune to be a cast on the project. It's an exciting project, actually, quite an exciting project. Um, for me as for me as a cast, the character David. Well, thank God, maybe season 4 would show that there is a little better part to him.
Mm,
It just it just reveals what life is actually. The fact that
mm,
we as human beings, no matter how much you claim you know a person, even your partner, most times it is when you get married that you start seeing the true nature.
mm,
So that is why marriage counselors, pastors, they always advise singles to pray well, confirm and reconfirm from God if this person is the person, so
mm,
that you get married and then you start seeing different baggages. You can easily go back to God, that God, you are the one that told me is this person. I think
mm,
that was the mistake that Morenike made. Um, God already showed you who your husband would be, but because of pressure here and there, you fell into wrong hands. But once you fall
mm,
into wrong hands, because of the kind of because of we as children of God, divorce is not an option.
mm,
So you would have to go back to God to help settle that issue. You have
mm,
to go back to God to help settle. The only prayer is that we don't make decisions that would eventually cost us our life at the end of the
mm,
day. Morenica
mm,
lost her life, and it would
mm,
have been that she married wrong and she died. So it's
mm,
better. It's not everybody that has it like David. that you pray to God and then God will heal him and then God will change him and then you'll be fine. It does not apply to everybody.
Mm.
So it is advisable that we do due diligence before we make our decisions for marriage.
Thank you so much. So, are you working on any other project aside Tumishi for now?
No, no.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not. But program is working on Hyphen that will be released December 25th.
Okay. So, when is Tumishi coming out? I think 21st of. Huh?
We are keeping it a secret.
Oh, okay. That's a secret. Okay, 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 okay. I'll let that fly. I'll let that fly. I'll let that fly. Okay. So, any advice for someone watching this program and wanted to just be like you? Do you have any advice for anyone?
Uh, okay, so first is please don't be like me.
Mm,
The best version that you can be is not even yourself because you don't know yourself. The best version that you can be is the version that God makes you to be.
mm,
So indirectly, what I'm trying to say is submit totally to God.
mm,
Submit totally. Coming from someone who probably thought he would be a star actor in Hollywood,
mm,
probably has a career in banking,
mm,
um, probably there's so many things I had as aspirations and goals and this and that.
mm,
But eventually, it is God who ordains the path of a man. And
mm,
it is better to align early so that you can get all these things in time. Not
mm,
that you would talk 40, 50 before you now find out that, had I
mm,
known. Make the decisions now, align now. The ones that God is calling to ministry, respond now.
mm,
I don't pamper people. Once you say God is calling to ministry, I don't tell people it's going to be easy. It's a lie.
mm,
So it's better you bear the burden, bear the cross while you're still a youth, where you can still cry the cry, where you and your wife can still um, do little struggles here and there, can still run around and all. Um, so we see our fathers in ministry and we glorify God in heaven. We
mm,
know that there is hope. We know that the future is bright. Evangelist Ayobami Adeboyega just came back from a tour in Europe. And those
mm,
kind of testimonies for me, who is a son, it's so great. It's
mm,
obvious that father can do that. Then times 10 is coming to me. So
mm, mm,
um, it's just the advice is just follow God, yield and stay with Him, even when things are not looking like it. Just stay with Him. Stay with Him.
mm.
It's faithful.
So I also saw on your page that you did a short clip to reminisce the late Dr. Are Korede.
Yes.
You
Yes.
want to say a little bit?
Okay. So I never knew him personally until is it a month? The project I posted online was about a month to his demise,
Mm,
and I was on set with him. Yes, I also watched him on screen, and I'd not had the opportunity to meet him in person. Okay, I think I met him once on set, like maybe a year or two ago, because Pastor Wright,
mm-hmm,
uh, Baba, Baba Korede acted a particular role some years ago as the spiritual father to Pastor Wright. So
mm,
we've always had that in mind as Pastor Wright's spiritual father. I think he was on set then. Until recently when I had to work with him. And what I would say is, that man was a bunch of talent. The particular film coming out, the title is The Source. And
mm,
there was a particular scene where he was asked to pray in Yoruba
mm,
and he went out of script. It was deep. Like when it was done and then the director said cut, everybody shouted like this man, sir, you are deep.
Mm.
Ah, no, 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 no. It was a
Mm.
bunch of talents, spiritual to the core, spiritual to the core, and very welcoming. It was painful because I was hoping to work with him on more projects. I saw
Mm.
that as, oh yes, now that I've known Baba personally, oh, by the grace of God, God will grant us opportunity to work together. But then, glory to God, God knows best.
Mm.
God
God
knows
knows
best.
best. Good.
His life is a testimony, and I've heard him speak. I think we were in the same car on set while we were going to location one of the days, and then he was speaking with Sister Omolara PMH, and then they were talking about life, talking about. And this man has seen a lot, and he's still very much committed to ministry. They are fathers that we have seen their stories, so we are not going anywhere.
Mm.
We are here to stay. But yes, we are here to stay.
All right. Thank you so much. I would like you to share your platform. Of course, I just say it. Your platforms, your Facebook, Instagram, if you're on Snapchat or whatever, TikTok. Go ahead and say that now.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram, official underscore I know Ayomide. Uh, Facebook, I know Ayomide Emmanuel. Um, I'm most active on both, and
Mm.
then channel too. I know Ayomide Emmanuel.
Okay. And what about contact on WhatsApp? Do you want to share that as well?
Actually, if they reach
Mm.
me on Instagram, on Facebook, I'm a social
Okay.
media person, so I like
Okay.
I like to keep my WhatsApp for now.
Okay. Good. Any parting words? Any parting words? Words of wisdom? Drop. You want to drop some words of wisdom?
Words of wisdom. Mm, mm. Okay, so focus on making impact.
Mm.
What will stand the test of time is impact. People might forget what you look like, they might forget what you smell like, but they'll never forget the impact you made in their lives.
Mm. Thank you so much, Mr. Aina Ayomide Emmanuel. And that is it on this particular episode. We'll be coming up with other important guests, which you will be able to learn from. And until the next episode, see you.